my god, okay. I'm alive. I'm alive. I think I'm alive. Jenny? Jenny, are you there?
무궁화 꽃을 피었습니다.
Ah! I swear I'm not moving a muscle. I'm not gonna get shot. 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 No, I would totally get shot. I'm not even gonna lie. If I played with like green light, I probably would have gotten easily shot in that first round.
I know. I suck at staying still.
If I didn't die in the first round, I easily would have died in the second round because my patience is way too thin to have been able to like handle the Dalgana, the honeycomb episode.
Oh yeah.
I would have been dead between the first two rounds easily.
Yeah, I would succumb to pressure. I would be like shaking, and then I messed up like the honeycomb.
Although I'm sitting there as like they're translating and to Wusan, and I'm like Wusan. Since Wusan's a little translation to umbrella, and if everybody knows Ateez, Wusan, yes. Anyway,
we are from Ateez.
Yeah,
Couple from Ateez.
Yes. Anyway, but we are back. I think.
Semi. This is our pre-single.
Sure, we'll call it a pre-single. Don't call it a comeback. Pre-single, maybe? Kind of?
Maybe.
Potentially? Anyway, we are back. But this is kind of a catch-up episode of the Noonas podcast with Jenny and Ginny. As always, I'm your host, Jenny, with my co-host, Ms. Ginny Liato.
I'm still alive, people.
We are live. We did not get caught by the Squid Game. We swear to God, we did not get kidnapped and taken off to Korea to play a potential death game to win a crap ton of won.
We are in debt. That's why we were out of we are in hiatus because we were just in debt trying to get some money.
We are in debt and are always perpetually in debt because this is not me currently thirsting over BTS tickets in LA. But anyway,
right.
Why only LA and why after Thanksgiving? Anyway, hopefully this means more concerts are coming soon. I'm praying. Yeah. But we do have a ton of music that we want to share and kind of catch up with before we get back to the regular swing of things here on the Noonas podcast. So we figured we just kind of do a catch-up episode quickly. Probably won't be quickly, unfortunately. Never is with the two of us.
I think it's gonna be 2 hours for a mini episode that we're we're planning. I think, yeah.
Our mini episodes end up to be about 2-3 hours. Although, not gonna lie, Cedric was joking. He's like, "Hey, 6-hour show," and I'm like, "No, you're would have to kill me if it was a 6-hour show." Not gonna lie, you would have to kill me at that point, because that would be insane. Although I probably could talk your ear off about K-pop for 6 hours, because yeah. But yeah, we have a good almost 2.5 months of music that we want to catch up on here. And I think we're just going to basically do kind of quick, hit it and quit it kind of back and forth on kind of some of the albums, some of the music we've been listening to since we've gone on hiatus. Just a kind of quick back and forth, just kind of to kind of what we liked, what was going on in the K-pop world while we were gone.
Not gonna lie, I think we all procrastinated, listening to the music we missed, and then when we were planning on having the next comeback, we were just crap, I need to listen to the thing that we missed the summer. Okay, yeah, Kingdom, we got okay, this group.
I know a little bit. I mean, there's some groups that definitely listened to their stuff when it came out, the day of. But I was slacking on the note taking part of it, but I was listening to it as I was listening to it because I was listening to it while I was working, because I was working a lot of overtime this summer as well as moving to the summer, so. That was part of the reason why the hiatus kind of took a little longer than we were hoping. Apologies for that. But yeah, I mean, I guess we should just probably get right into it. And I guess, should we just get right into it? We're just going to kind of go, like I said, we're going to try to just hit these off as quick as we can. Maybe have a little bit of talk in between on what we liked about the albums and stuff. the artists we're going to talk about. And we're going to collaborate and have a huge playlist at the end of this episode that we're going to share on Spotify that has all our favorite songs from all these artists up for you to share on Spotify, on our Noonas podcast Spotify link. We will share that for you guys after the episode. So stay tuned for that. But I guess the first one we want to talk about is 17.
Yes. Yes.
17's, is it their 8th? No. Oh God, no, it's not their 8th mini album. They have had way more than that.
You put down the 8th album. So.
I'm like, I think they have way more than that too, but they've had, maybe it's their 8th album. Anyway, but it's their last full album. It's Your Choice, which came out back on 6/18. So back in June 18th, like right after we went on hiatus.
Is this their first album to be produced under Hybe?
I believe it is their first full album to be produced under Hybe. Since Play just went under Hybe, they kind of joined under Hybe's umbrella because there is some obviously some writing credits with Hitman Bang and some of the Hybe some of the big hit producers on there as well. But which I know some like OG fans of 17, some OG carrots are not too thrilled about. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did really like. I really liked Ready to Love, the single off that album. Like, I actually thought that was a really, really good song. It just was a really
it was growing on me. It was like first listen, I was like, okay, because like I was like my biggest concern when like some of the companies joined under Hybe, is that like their music gonna be sounded like more like BTS or TXT. So that's why I was like listening to Ready to Love, like kind of reminds me of like what BTS would probably like sing or like have their music be as. So, but like I think that my sister was like, don't worry, I think like that music still sounds really like 17. So I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still has some of the 17 flares. Like I said, Uzi is still Buzu or Bumzu, who still do a lot of the production with 17. Are still very, very hands-on, obviously, with the production side of stuff. Uzi being a member of 17, and Bumzu's always been part of the production team side of 17.
Yeah, isn't that song, though, was it also produced by Hitman Bang, too?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Ready to Love was produced by Hitman Bang. So that's why, I think that's also, again, that's the reason why Hitman Bang kind of stepping down as like CEO of Hybe, because he wanted to kind of go back into the studio a little bit, be a little more hands-on with working with some of these groups. Back working with BTS, TXT, and Hyphen, 17. I'm not sure if he's working with Newest. Some of the groups under the Hybe umbrella. But yeah, I mean, I can understand where people are concerned, like, it's sounding like BTS because, everyone I think is concerned about that now. But I guess
the Hybe monopoly, no kidding.
A little bit. But I mean, like I said, I think it still had some of its 17's flair to it. And I think overall, I think like 17's always been kind of grown, like they've always kind of grown out of like not having the same thing every album. So
yeah, like they don't have like a specific like concept that they are like they have, like they always diversify with like their their music.
Yeah, and I mean they're always successful anyway. I mean, this is another million seller for them. So, and they're having another comeback actually very, very soon that we'll be talking about coming up here in a few weeks on the show with their next album, Attica. So I'm actually really looking forward to that because everything I've seen currently with the teasers on that is very rock driven. So I'm very interested considering everything else that's kind of coming out of Hybe lately with some rock sounds, namely with Tomorrow by Together. But that's, I mean, that was a more rock emo. This is feeling more like rock.
I haven't heard the teasers yet, so it's kind of like a Beastie Boy because isn't it like the hip hop subgroup that will be promoting this?
I'm not sure if it's a hip hop subgroup because it's also going to be very interesting too with 17 promoting their next album because two of the members, June and the 8, have gone home to China for the rest of the year to spend time with their family and to do some work in China. So 17 is only going to be promoting as a group of 11. So it's actually part of the performance team is down 2 members because both of them are part of the performance team. So technically speaking, so it's going to be kind of interesting to see how promotion goes. with this next album, but I'm not sure if it's more hip hop driven or something. Like I said, there hasn't been much out in terms of like the musical teasers. They just had like basically the concept trailer where you have the current 11 that are promoting, kind of doing some crazy stuff with this like very engaging, like very rock oriented sound to it. So,
right.
Like I said, it's different than what, and I'm going to talk about Tomorrow together later because I had to repackage while we were gone, but I'm like I said, I'm very curious in seeing what we're going to have coming up with 17. So
yeah,
it'll be very
fun. Do you have any like favorite songs right now? I think because you like listed down like your favorite like tracks.
I did. Like I said, I like Ready to Love. That was one of my favorite tracks off that album, as well as Anyone, which was another complete group, and then one of the unit tracks, which I believe this was the performance unit track off of Your Choice, which is Same Dream, Same Love, Same Night, which has this kind of like retro-ish kind of vibe to it. It's a really beautiful song to end off the album. So
yeah, same here. I think I would add Wave as one of my favorites too, because of what you've mentioned, that I like them too for like so similar reasons, because they feel like really like nostalgic and really like draws into the retro elements, music production.
Yeah, they kind of had put some of the retro-ish sounds on that. So, like I said, it was a really successful album for them. It's actually also the first time they ever actually they topped the Billboard 200 album list too in their career. So they're definitely making waves now in America too. So I think them going to Hype helped a little bit on that. So, but yeah, and then I think the next one that we're going to talk about, I think comes, again from me, because it came out on June 30th. Or I think we both, there was this one that I wanted to talk about was Omega X, because this actually is a debut. This was a rookie debut group, a group called Omega X. And like I said, they just dropped their debut album on June 30th with Vamos. And what's interesting with Omega X is actually it's kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of different members from different groups that are now defunct into this new 11-member group under Spire Entertainment. And they've all been either in survival shows, they've been in other previous groups. So they've all kind of come back into this new group, and you can definitely tell they've all had performance experience before, because like there's this bit of a polish on this album. You can kind of tell. Because Vamos itself is very, I think, a very, very polished debut solo track, or not debut solo track, but debut single from them. It's very, very like, it's kind of going into like noise genre a little bit. So like if you are a fan of, say, Stray Kids, of Ateez, that kind of sound, a little bit of NCT, into that noise kind of sound in K-pop, like I think you would really, really like Omega X. They kind of have there's kind of a bit of a Latin flair to this one too. Again, with the title track called Vamos, you can understand why. But yeah, there's just a really nice polish to it. And it's also very industrial, a little bit of an industrial sound to it too. And like I said,
I see.
I also recommend off of Vamos, the album itself, I would recommend the song Omega X, which kind of, I think, is just like they're like, hey, this is us. We're on the scene. This is the group. And then the song Younger, which is a little bit of a softer track, but I think it's a good to kind of show the case their duality. And then I will also kind of note too that, I mean, it is a little bit of it, like I said, in the noise genre of K-pop, but it also has a bit of a throwback vibe to it too. Feels a little Gen 3-ish. So like maybe a little NCT, like I guess I could hearken to maybe to a little bit NCT versus say, more EDM based, like you'd see with like Stray Kids or Ateez. So if you like NCT sound, I think you might like Omega X.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I unfortunately haven't gotten to listen to them yet. Yeah, like from what you said, like they're more of like a noise group. Yeah, I'm into like a lot of like noise songs from K-pop. So I think I'll give it a whirl. After this recording,
give them a shot. Like I said, there's a bit of a polish there because they've all had performance experience previously, just because they've all had experience, whether in other groups or whether they've been on survival shows. So they all have kind of had that stage presence, and you, like I said, you can tell, and it's really helped a lot in their in just them performing and their musicality, I think. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then, yeah. And then I think our next one is the next day, actually, literally, on July 1st. And I know we didn't give them a glowing review on their debut. And then we're talking about Kingdom, the group Kingdom, not the show.
There's so many kingdoms, like the survival show, like the band, and also like a show.
The show on Netflix too.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the rookie group Kingdom, who just came back with their second mini album on July 1st with History of Kingdom Part 2, Chi Woo. Kind of going with their theme here with albums. They've been following this theme that every album of theirs, as their first one, Part 1, Arthur, obviously was kind of had this, their single kind of was Excalibur, obviously kind of rolling on King Arthur, and obviously the music of that single is a little bit more inspired by Renaissance or like a little more medieval.
Medieval ages.
Yeah, whereas this one, Chi Woo, the single Karma, is very inspired by Chinese instrumentation, and you can see that throughout the single, even the intro track too, which I think the intro track flowed better in this one than it did on Part 1.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I think we all agreed that this is such a huge improvement in their music production, from more than their debut, which is which is a good thing. If you were okay or didn't impress you that much with their debut, their opening introduction of themselves. It would be better for you to improve further and just get a better impression for the second one, because if it's a glowing introduction or a glowing debut, if they had, but their second effort would be it's okay. So it might lose a lot of momentum into supporting them. So I guess that this is be a good step for them.
Yeah, you can definitely tell there is a substantial growth between their first album and their second album here. Not just in the single itself. Like I said, I think Karma is a beautiful song. It was actually an immediate like on my Spotify. I just loved the beautiful instrumentation of it, and the combination of them adding a little bit of the modern beats into it. I don't think it overwhelmed too much of the Chinese instrumentation. They just combined really, really well. And even the rest of the album itself too, some of the other tracks like Eternity and Warning were just really, really, really good tracks. I really like the driving beat to Warning a lot. That pops up a lot of times on my daily list actually, because it just has a really good drive to it.
Yeah. Even I like how how they're really being consistent in doing the concepts of legendary leaders in our history, or myths in history. They first did King Arthur, and now for them going to China, looking into the figure of Qi Yu, this legendary king that they had in the back in China. And I really like how they're they have some kind of narrative that they build in their album. They always have an intro that establishes and how the music is going to be and then it goes on from the rest thereon. And I've enjoyed a lot of their their songs. I like their intro music, and then Karma, and then Warning would be my favorite tracks.
Yeah, like I said, and they also have a comeback coming up actually later this month as well with Part 3, Ivan, which they actually just dropped a teaser, which we watched right before we recorded today, and based upon the Russian leader Ivan the Terrible. And that's looking to be very interesting too. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to tie in Russian mythology and Russian folklore potentially into their music. So I'm looking very interested in seeing how this is going to tie into the story that they're telling with their music and what they're doing and the growth hopefully that we get to see with that. So
yeah, I'm also curious too. Once they covered all of like the things that they like, Ivan, like Arthur, because even their group, the group names are based off like
Mhm.
those people too. So
Right.
I wonder if they're all covered. So what would like they like do next? That would be like the next
Yeah.
interesting thing.
So
Will they
it's
still just continue with like the kind of like historical
mhm.
fantasy element, or like do something else?
Yes, I know that's what's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen because they're kind of also continuing, like they're kind of connecting everything together with their music videos too. Because I know the end of Karma kind of was hinting at what they were
Yeah.
going to do with this next one with Ivan. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to tease next after this next upcoming title track. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, but I'm going to pass it to you because I think you have the next few albums because this is the time where I was moving. So I kind of, unfortunately, fell
Yeah.
off a little bit of my music
Meanwhile,
listening. So Ginny's going to be talking here for a little bit.
yeah.
Hopefully I
Meanwhile, while
could put
Jenny
in a
was
little
making
bit.
her like, yeah, meanwhile, while Jenny was making her, like her preparation for moving, I was, listening to some of like the comeback albums. So I was trying to like my best to be catching up. This happened, or this one in particular is happened the next day after Kingdoms, part two came out. So this is July 2nd with BM's from Card, the first statement. So this is his first solo album effort, I believe.
Yes, this is his first solo album. So because I did listen
Yeah.
to 13 IVI, I remember seeing the music video for that, and I was really impressed actually with his solo work on that. So
Yeah, that was a bop. I really I enjoy his I enjoyed that, and because a lot of like people are doing like that dance challenge,
mhm.
and yeah, that that song really gets you like pumped up. Like if you like have like hype music, yeah, you better put up like 13 IVI,
Mhm.
which that is like the broken up like form of BM's like name, because 13 also comes like B, and then IVI shapes up like BM, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. Like a pretty cool idea that he did.
Hmm.
And I think my second one from the BM was the Body Movement. Those songs that really like get you into the mood, and very very fitting up on BM that he would make. Though it really drives it into his character and his persona as like this really big deal in Korea, and he has like this really macho personality. So it really it's helps elaborate, or exemplifies himself as an artist.
Yeah, because he's definitely a little bit more outspoken of the idols out there
So yeah, I
as
mean,
he's been memed quite a bit on the internet. But I mean, considering, I mean, he actually has produced some pretty good music here. Like I said, 13 IVI is a bop. It literally is a bop. Like it is some really I wouldn't say aggressive music, but it's something that I definitely throw up on my like K-pop workout playlist because it's definitely something that would get
right,
you moving. So.
yeah. And then I think and then after that, because I've been like going on into like be like more of like solo artists as well, because
Mhm.
after that July 6th was Taeyeon's single comeback, which is Weekend. I like the sound like produced into it, because it's really going back into the retro vibe of with K-pop lately.
Mhm.
I really like the it's very relaxing, and it's very like upbeat to get you like enjoy the weekend. So I like it for like that simple reason. And yes, and then for after that, my other list would also come from, or including only one of. I think we've mentioned them just once
Yes.
or twice, but yeah, they've been really like getting recognition from like their music video not too long ago called Libido. If you haven't heard of it, or like seen the music video, I implore you to watch it, because they're that kind of like thing that they had that they made in the video. That's something that we've have never seen, or like almost never seen, like a lot of boy group music video, because they're really going into like the fan service.
It made waves. It made a
Yeah,
lot of waves in the like K-pop, in the K-pop fandoms. Like people were like, whoa, like holy, like, and especially as a rookie group yet, because at this point I think they were still technically in rookie status. I don't know if they're still in rookie status. They think they might be. But they were making
I think they're going out
waves.
of, yeah.
They're almost out of rookie
For
status at
people,
this
because
point.
I have never heard of, I've never heard of them until someone tagged me to look at the video. Even like, like famous K-pop YouTube reactors. It was like their first time getting introduced with that group, and they were like shook. Because like they had like a lot of like those like yaoi BL elements that they have in like holy shit, this is so
Oh yeah,
like, I don't know if I should be watching this, but yeah,
it gets very very BL boy love K drama boy love drama like elements in that video. But like, I mean, kudos to them for pushing the envelope, especially even with some of the stage choreography, because I'm surprised like that even was allowed on some of the channels in Korea. Because
I'm shocked that the music video was rated 12. I was like, really?
Yeah, considering Red Lights was rated 15 anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, with their new comeback after that like steamy libido track, so they actually called this album Produced by Myself. So going with like the title of the album, it's pretty much like self-produced by like the members of the group, which is very very impressive, like for them to be coming out of the rookie status and they're already being allowed to like make music by themselves, which is a very great opportunity. One of my favorite tracks from them was Koi and Night Flight, because I think they really give out like this really like soothing vibes from them. They're really underrated, so and I strongly recommend that you go check them out, because they do a lot of like great stuff with what they do.
Yeah, I've actually listened to some of their older stuff, like Savannah, which I think is from their debut album, and that's a very, very good song too. Like, they are very underrated, I believe, in the K-pop world. You should really go check out one of. They are really good, and I know, unfortunately, I believe their leader did leave the group while we were on hiatus. So I know they're kind of going through a little bit of a shakeup currently right now, but they still have made some really, really good music. I think something you should really go check out.
Yeah. Would it be your turn, or should I keep going with my?
I believe, because my next one is not until I'm not back on until 7:30. So you have a couple. Yeah, I think you have one more. Or you have a couple more.
Okay, one more. So yeah, with my list, I've gone through a lot of like solo artists, and this is another one, which is EXO's Dio, for his album Empathy. I don't know if this is considered his first or solo album, but I know he's done like some music.
I think this is his first solo album, because I think he just released some like solo tracks before. I know he released that solo track before he went into the military, because he's now obviously been released. So I think this is his actual first album since he was released, or that he's ever actually dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, so with Dio from EXO, like he's one of like the members there with like one of the best voices. There are three like vocalists in EXO, which is Baekhyun, Chen, and Dio, and they're all their voices are really powerful, and people like always like applauded Dio for his like this really great voice. Like his voice can be like used in like a lot of R&B tracks, because like his voice like really like goes in. It's very like it gets you. Like people are calling him like like the Korean Chris Brown, because like he's so talented. Just despite the singing ability, of course, but
yes, but just his singing ability, nothing else. Seriously, just because of his singing ability.
Yeah, but with this song, because I was really excited to hear what he would put out, and because I was expecting that he would do some like that kind of R&B like kind of thing, because his voice really fit with that with that genre. So I was pleasantly surprised too, when I heard like the sample tracks and when I heard like the album for the first time, that it was like more of like like folksy, like more of like acoustic type of genre that he did. So it took me by surprise, but I'm just like I appreciate that he was able to like do something else that people would have not expect. And it's a and it also makes a great difference or contrast with his album, versus to Baekhyun's months ago with his Bambi album, because that was like really like goes into like the sensual R&B jazz with Baekhyun. So I'm glad that they made a contrast with Dio. He's going more of like the lighthearted acoustic type of like instrumentals. But like his solo or his single for the album was Rose. And I think, in my opinion, I think I like his English version better, because I think it flows better when in his English, which is a rare feat with a lot of K-pop groups, because whenever they do English versions of like their hit singles, it kind of sounds like a bit weird for me to like listen to. Is like you're more used to like the Korean, like with them singing in Korean. But with this one, this is like very different. I think like his English version really like flows well with like the music.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I think I preferred like the English version more than the original.
Interesting.
And I also like his other the Spanish cover from like his second track, I think, the Si Fueras Mia. I think I like how his Spanish too. He's very diverse, and like his singing, he can like sing whatever he can in English, Spanish, or Korean. So he's super talented. And, if you haven't heard of it, you should check it out. If you want to go away from like the like the usual noise of K-pop, this is like a good way for you to listen, or a good difference to listen with his album.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent. Obviously, EXO is a very immensely talented group, and all their members with their solo work has been immensely talented too. I remember him with dropping his solo track before he enlisted, because that was right when I was getting into K-pop, because I was listening to a lot of EXO when I first got into K-pop too, because I was one of those weird I was one of those weird EXO's armies, because that's a very weird apparently crossover fandom. But
how you've been like friends in the beginning?
How dare I? But I mean, because he had left a track as to like for the fans say, hey, I'll be back soon from the military, and so this was as his first comeback since a solo comeback as him being back post military, and this was immensely successful for him too. Like it was charting very, very well, both in Korea and here in the States too. So on the Billboard. So it should, because I know it was charting very well on iTunes as well too. So yeah, he had a lot of success with this album. So did you want to talk about any of the other solo artists? I know you had a few other solo artists before I get into a couple more of my groups.
Yeah, I'm trying to check with the ones that are labeled single. Okay, well, this one, I think this was jumping into like the August comebacks with Somi's Dum Dum. I know like some people are kind of like kind of criticized, or like kind of like said like like I don't think that's like her strong comeback. Yeah, but like the thing is I included it there because I wasn't like crazy about it at the first time, but after seeing a bunch of like challenges and hearing it everywhere on like Instagram, like I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of like into it now. So it's like it's really infectious, like the the music. So that's why I put it there. Yeah, no,
I was the same thing with Somi too, because I remember that song because I did like the kind of some of the Mean Girl vibes, but I could understand like people's the Clueless kind of Mean Girl vibes to the music video, but also the whole zombie thing too is a little weird. The music video, that was a very weird kind of combination in the music video, but I kind of get some people's criticism of it, but I liked it. It was kind of fun. It's like a fun bop.
Yeah, it's fun fact. Just like damn, it's like an earworm. I couldn't help but like okay, it is a bop, but also this is like okay. I consider this a single because she didn't she's not gonna put out her album soon. That it'll be I think this October, but like this was put out earlier by CL, which is the song Spicy. For her upcoming Alpha album, which this is like a very CL like track, like a very hard hitting, and it's very like frantic with like the music production, and it's also included famous American actor Shit. Oh, I'm about
It was John Malkovich. John Malkovich, yes.
Yeah, John Malkovich. I was having an epic pause that. Famous actor.
Have a brain fart too.
I forgot his name, but John Malkovich.
Because when you're famous enough that you can get John Malkovich on your music videos, you know you've made it.
K-pop music videos. Yeah, and that was like, that's like a weird pairing of like, because like John Malkovich being a narrator. I think he's going to be narrating too, like in her album as well. So I think you're going to be hearing more of his voice.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a very cute very interesting that they how they met up, because I think they were in a movie together, and I think they got closer, and they got to hang out, and that's why CL like asking like, hey, can you be on my next K-pop album? Like, yeah, sure.
I mean, hey, weirder collaborations have happened. I mean, we've seen some very interesting collaborations in K-pop. So, especially
Conan and JYP
as of late. So it is, considering what's all happened and everything, it's just been crazy. So, but I'll go back and actually, because I now have a few groups and stuff I want to touch on that we kind of hit now in July and into August. But I'm going to go back and talk with SF9 because I'm going to actually kind of hit up some of it, because most of the K-pop groups that were part of Kingdom, I'll say, because I say most, I say 5 out of the 6 actually got to have a comeback during this time while we were gone. The only group that did not have a comeback, weirdly enough, was iKON. Because, again, I don't know what the hell is happening with YG, because YG.
Actually, because with Lisa, that was like a big anticipated solo release, and then even though like that her albums like make gangbusters in the music charts, there's still like little promotion happening in Korea.
Right, exactly. So it's just very interesting to see what's why that didn't do well, or why they weren't promoting much in terms of YG. But I'm going to talk about SF9 first, because they were the first ones to come back with their album Turnover and the single Teardrop, which kind of I think picked up right after like what they did with their song Believer. And I think it was really, really, really good. It was just to have this beautiful, sensual kind of vibe to it, like Believer had, and it just felt super, super, it's just super, super sexy. And it's like, again, it has that like SF9 just kind of like sexy vibe to it. It's just,
and by sexy, I mean like, GIFs and like video pan cams of Taeyang just like grinding his hips and like in the Teardrop chorus. Oh my god! I have no idea how much I was like looking at like the fan cam and like seeing all the compilations of him like this. Like,
oh my god! Right,
swaying his hips like. So like he's another problematic people that I have to like watch out for. Now I got Sana to be worried about. Now I got Taeyang in the mix.
I know. Damn, they had some of those outfits during that Teardrop promotion were questionable, to say the least, and I'd say like sexy questionable, and I'm like, this is dangerous territory. But especially because they decided to wear some of them come their V lives and stuff, and it's like, y'all need to put some clothes on.
And the Ateez looked at it like, interesting.
I know. I'm gonna put a pin on that because we're getting back to Ateez later.
We'll talk about you later.
We're talking about you later, Ateez. As I'm sure my roommate just shooted over the door, and she's like, "Yes, exactly." Because I'm trying my roommate to an A-tinny. But I really actually really enjoyed Turnover itself as an album. I thought it was a really good album post Kingdom for them. I know they didn't do too well in Kingdom, but I kind of continued with like this more like the smooth, sexy, clubby vibe. But they also had some like this fun with this album, I think, too, because it kind of had some Latin a little bit later with the song Fanatic. Kind of felt like had some Latin vibes to it, kind of not a ton like they've seen with like O Sole Mio in the past, but it was nice to see a little bit Latin back in their music, because I do like when they do experiment with a little bit with the Latin beats. And then I did like the final track on that album, Hey, Hi, Bye. It's a really flirty kind of fun song. It feels very carefree. Like they kind of were able to let loose with that song, and it felt really just chill for them. And it was just a really kind of fun song to finish up the album. So yeah, I thought they had a very solid comeback post Kingdom. So but then I'm going to jump all the way to the end of...
Yeah, that's good that you included SF9 because I know when we were watching the Kingdom episodes with you and your friends, yeah, like y'all were too crazy about like SF9 production or or like performances. So I'm like, yeah,
not until the Believer stage, and we're like, where was this the whole entire time? Which I kind of was. I mean, even their cover of Taemin too was like, it was good, but it was just still like, I know a lot of people like that cover.
Yeah, lacks something.
It still lacks something for me because I mean, it just Taemin's move is iconic as hell. So like,
it'd be hard to like surpass or hard to like recreate that.
It is. So, it's just lacking something. Also, just Taeyang and that crap. I'm having visions. Okay, we're moving on. I'm moving on to Dreamcatcher before I go back to. God damn it, Taeyang. Anyway, moving on to Dreamcatcher on July 30th with their summer album, Summer Holiday. With their title track, because still kind of keeping up with their like kind of prog rock alternative sound, which they're just so well known for. And I really
their signature and like
their signature
like
sound.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they still are keeping up with this because like they're becoming really, really immensely popular, both now in Korea and I think internationally too with the sound. And it's really nice to see them actually getting, some modicum of success finally, because I think they really do deserve it because it's such a unique sound in K-pop that we don't see, especially with girl groups. And the title track, because kind of plays, again, it's a little bit more of a modern take on nu metal, a little bit like a little brighter than you would see something like their previous title tracks like Piri or Deja Vu. But because it has it's a summer album, so it kind of feels a little bit brighter because it is a summer album. But I really did appreciate like the fact that they're keeping so hard with the like rock sound with them, and I really like that. I also really liked Whistle off of that album. It's a very clubbier sound. Still kind of keeps with that rock nu metal ish. Kind of feels something like it would come out of like the mid-aughts. Something I would totally listen to back in high school. Again, dating myself here. But it's because it's almost got some almost like something that's mid-aught, like Eurobeat, Euro clubby, nu metal-ish to it. And it's a really fun track to them that they kind of got to play with. So, but I really liked it. So, and I will see in August was was the month of like all these summer albums. Cause like everybody was dropping a summer album in August. I felt like cause that's like, I think for them was like the peak time where people were like, cause it's so hot, not just in Korea, but even where I live too, it gets hot. So everyone's like more like refreshing songs. So a lot of times groups will release what like are quote unquote called summer albums and kind of fit that vibe apparently. So, cause the next album I want to talk about is On and Off with their summer, what they called their summer pop-up album. Which they dropped on 8/9 with their song Popping, which if you want a juxtaposition of the single, like the music from the single and a music video, you should go watch their music video because that does not fit at all with the vibe of the song because the music video is dark, but the song is so bright and cheerful and it's just like, how does this connect? Like how does this work? Because it's still trying to tie into their like universe storyline that they've kind of built.
They're like cyberpunk kind of like concept that they're doing.
They're very cyberpunk kind of world, like hopping. Like, cause I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people are dying in this music video yet again. Like seriously,
everything is awesome. Okay,
everything's horrible. Everything's horrible. Everybody's dying. There's a lot of also snow to it too, and it's like it's a summer album, but there's snow. Yeah, a lot of juxtaposition. It's very interesting. But it's the song itself, like I said, it's very, very bright and cheerful and stuff. And it was kind of fun to see them like perform it on stage because like some of the outfits were just kind of fun. And just to see like the brightness for them because like they had this very bright sound. We've seen the bright sound from On and Off and just them continuing to play with that kind of sound. Also tying in some like, I feel like a little bit of some retro-ish sounds a tiny bit too. But it just, because I think it helps that they do all their work in-house because they have the same production team and the same producers that they work with all the time. So I think that helps a lot that they kind of can keep that sound and then can kind of develop organically. That just kind of helps develop stuff. I also really, really like the songs off that album, Summer Shape, which is more of a like I kind of hearken it to like a jazzy or like a jazz, like you find something in like in a jazz lounge, like late at night, like it's hot in a hot summer night. It's really chill, really relaxing, really, really sultry sound. And then the track after that with Dry Ice, it's very experimental, I think, for On and Off, but it's a real fun song from them. It's really fun combination of them playing with beats and stuff. Almost kind of an experimentation with them, maybe playing a little bit with noise genre, I would say. But I really liked it. And I know a lot of Fuses really did like it. Fuses being their fandom. I know that was a standout track from a lot of Fuses. So, and I really did enjoy that song as well. So, yeah. And I know the same day that came out, the boys also dropped their summer album with Thrilling. Well, I guess they didn't call this the summer album. It's their sixth mini album, but it also has very summer vibes. If the lifeguard outfits that had, no hearken to that whatsoever in Thrill Ride. If you've seen the music video for Thrill Ride.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Because I mean, it was like, we get it, it's summer. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Thrill Ride I think took a moment to grow on me because it just felt like I was waiting for the beat to drop in Thrill Ride.
Yeah, same with me.
It was like, it just felt a little monotonous. Like it grew on me eventually because I've seen them perform it, and like I just see just the joy they have on stage, especially performing it. I just got to see them perform it a couple weeks ago during a live concert stream, and like just seeing the joy on their faces when they perform it, because they can tell like they really like the song. It's a fun song for them to perform, and it is a very bright, bubbly song. It's something I would almost feel like a very it's a happier song for them versus some of the darker stuff we've seen from them, like Reveal and The Stealer.
Yeah.
So this kind of back to something a little bit brighter, like Bloom Bloom, or something like I'm trying to think something of a brighter single from the boys. But yeah, it took a moment to grow because, like I said, it's like there's like you're waiting for that like inevitable like beat drop to happen, but it doesn't really happen in the song.
Yeah, there's like a lot of like examples of like cool, good K-pop songs with the anti-drop, because like how many people are anticipating like that really formulaic, like it builds up, and you hear like the big bass drop. Yeah, there's like a lot of examples of really like
yes.
puts you like makes you expect that you're gonna hear that, but like it's not. It's like a really great like subverted elements that we keep on hearing all the time. So it's like really good change. They call it the anti-drop.
Yeah, it definitely is a very good. It's a very good example of the anti-drop in K-pop. So if you want, I guess, something that's going to subvert that, I'd say check out Thrill Ride. I also did like off of the album, I like Dancing Till We Drop. That also has very Bloom vibes. It's very, very bright and bubbly too, and just kind of it does make you want to dance to it. I really like Nightmares. It kind of had this like almost like this Billie Eilish kind of vibe to it. It kind of leaves you on edge a little bit.
Yes.
Too. Yeah. And I really, really liked it, but it's a little more pop driven than you'd see with Billie Eilish, obviously, because Billie Eilish is very, very experimental. It's a little more pop driven, but it definitely kind of it has that moment because again, it's it really like that disorienting kind of dream on edge feeling.
Yeah, I think they've been listening to a bunch of. I think they listened to a lot of Billie Eilish lately because shout out to my man Juyeon for his Artist of the Month performance on Studio Choom, which he did a performance dancing to Billie Eilish's "You Should See Me in the Crown," which the performance or how he did it, like it's so like minimal, but it's like still have like kind of an effect. He's not moving a lot, but it's very like very like eerie too.
It is minimalistic, but very I don't want to say sexy because it's like everyone says sexy, but there's like this sultry sexiness to it because it's so minimalistic, but like aggressive in the best ways. It's just you kind of have again that Billie Eilish edge to it, and it's like I highly recommend going checking out Ju Young's Studio Choom Artist of the Month. If anybody else wants to check out any of the Studio Choom Artist of the Months while we were gone for hiatus, go check out Woo Young from Ateez. He had June. He did Christopher's Bad, and it was fantastic. He did that, and then July was TXT Tomorrow by Together's Youngjun doing he did who did he do? He did
Watermelon Sugar.
He did Watermelon Sugar, Harry Styles, and
then second half was with Ed Sheeran. I forgot the song, but it has like Ed Sheeran.
It was an Ed Sheeran song, but it was very rock oriented. So for Youngjun, So, but like I really liked Woo Young's because Woo Young had this very mature sexiness to his, whereas Yeonjun really went a very rock oriented.
Very rock of ages, like kind of like dance style too.
It was very fun seeing everyone's different, especially because we're seeing all the different all the boy groups. Because I can't remember who did. I can't remember who was August. I know August was a girl. I think it was. Oh, was it? It was somebody from ITZY, though, wasn't it? It was somebody from ITZY.
Terry Young. Yeah, Terry Young.
I think it was Terry Young from ITZY, and I can't remember what she did.
I didn't see it, but also stay tuned for the next one because our boy
Hyunjin from Stray Kids is October, which boy. We will explain why later.
People, dancing from Kingdom too, like Woo Young, Juyeon, and
Hyunjin was unfortunately, but Hyunjin's come back with the vengeance, y'all.
Double kill, triple kill because his comeback video performance that was I don't appreciate it. Then his red lights with
we're gonna talk about lights when we talk about lights.
No, we don't talk about him. We don't talk. We're
gonna talk about lights when we talk about lights. Because we're bringing up red lights later.
No, please.
Jigging off chains and everything. Anyway, I will explain why later. But no, and like I said, the boys I think they had actually a really solid album with there's just 6 mini, but I'm trying to think of what the next one is going on because I'm trying to keep us on date track because I'm trying to keep us.
I think we. I have other people during the July still.
Yeah, go for it.
But well, also for the boys, I also like one of their songs, "Out of Control." Or
Ooh.
I don't know if we mentioned that, but Thrill for mine will be "Thrill," "Ride," "Out of Control," and "Dancing Till We Drop." Those are my 3 favorite tracks from there. With the comebacks, I've been going into further from the mainstream and looking into the more underrated artists that you guys should really listen to. One of the biggest ones would be from YG, the brother sister duo Akmu. I don't know if you heard this album. This is called The Next Episode. That's the title of their album, and boy, their first single or the ones that they put out first, it really goes back into my thing I love. The thing I love with listening was the Euro house beat and more of the techno synth produced you probably hear from in Britain or probably in other European countries, because their song that they had at the beginning, "Hey Kid." Sounds reminiscent of those back in the early 90s, so with the club type of beat, or maybe in the early 2000s. I really love that. I really love that song. And they also had a collab, I think, with IU with the "Close Your Eyes," I believe. Their album has a lot of collaborated acts, and I think IU was one of their biggest people that they work with in this album. "Close Your Eyes," another example of that really retro Eurobeat into it, and "Naka." You guys should really check this out because they're really such an underrated group and they do a lot of great stuff in their music. And I think you put this here, but I was into Luna's album, the album "End," so the symbol of the the end, AND, and their title track, the PTT, also known as Paint the Town. Yeah, I like that song because it's really fun. And I think my favorite track from their album, which is Wow, has like the really like goes into like a 90s type of like pop that they have. So yeah, I like being like nostalgic with them. It's like some of the stuff that they produce in Luna. So yeah, those are my two favorite tracks from them. Going further from like like you hear from like K-pop boy bands, I'm gonna be including also like some of like more rock oriented music that you guys should listen to. My sister recommended this rock band called Janabi, and they really do great stuff because a lot of their songs, it's very like very inspired by a lot of like classic rock and a lot of like like either like the psychedelic and progressive like rock you hear from like the 60s and the 70s. Very like a lot of their songs are very like Beatles-esque. Like I like listen to like their songs like oh man, it reminds me of like this Beatles song. So yeah, like their album that month that was the Land of Fantasy, and yeah, I think my favorite song from them was called A Ballad of Non Lejon. Yeah, it's very like I forgot. Yeah, but trying to remember because like the songs over there, it feels very like almost like a Sergeant Pepper's type of vibe. If guys know the Beatles, very like circusy, but also like very like more into like the natural like rock, like you can hear from the 60s, like very old old fashioned.
Okay.
Yeah, after Jonna B, I have another another solo artist who is like more into like the K hip hop side of the spectrum. His name is BY. Yeah, he's a very talented rapper. He also calls himself a Christian rapper because a lot of his songs, relates to his, like his faith and, like, talking about his religion. And yeah, you don't have to like be like, Christians to, like really enjoy his songs because a lot of them like really hits hard. Like you don't have to understand, like he's talking about God. But yeah, for this one though, his new album like feels more like into the funk, which makes sense because the title of his album is 32 Funk. So it's more like 70s like disco, like funk and soul oriented, which I like the new change of him. Yeah, my favorite tracks from there would be the Freestyle, Incheon Airport Freestyle, Standout featuring Doc 2, Celebration, Perfect Thumbnail, which is featuring the dynamic duo and Mino. So yeah, you can, if you're more into like the hip hop, type of, style, you can go check out BY and his like all of his discographies back then.
Nice.
I also, Somi, but I also, after Somi released her album, I was also anticipating Sunmi's next, comeback album, which is 1/6 or 1/6. I really enjoyed her, another person or another artist who does like a lot of like retro style type of genre in her music, and I really like I had a fun time listening to her single You Can't Sit With Us, which is another like 90s like teen girl movie, like that line coming from the Mean Girls, You Can't Sit With Us. And like also like with some kind of Clueless and some kind of teenage vengeance type of like movie, and zombie like apocalypse that she included in her music video. You guys really should check that out.
We had a lot of very neat. We had a lot of zombies in the summer this year.
Yeah, summer fun, some fun time in the sun and zombies.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was a very strange summer.
Yeah. My most favorite tracks from like her album was actually Narcissism, and Borderline, because I really like her like very noirish and very like dark dark content that she does, because she's really good at like expressing like the troubles or like her personal like experiences that she struggles with. Mm-hmm. So I really like how she expresses that through her through her song, and you can really feel like with like her very bleak type of like jazzy music that she does. I actually because I kind of Because I know she released Borderline as like a single before releasing this album, and I think there's like a slight change of like difference in like the production of her music because it feels very more like clean in her album. And I would like to point out I think I like her original release of that because it feels more like dirty and grimy like with how it sounds because it's like something that he would hear it like in a late night bar, like if you're all like all drunk and then you're like drinking like yeah and you can hear that song, it really puts you into the mood.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, I think those are like how I like filling up with like the July to the August recommendations that I have here.
Yeah. I was gonna throw one more in, and I didn't put this on my list, and I should have because actually I've been getting into them this summer. The group DPR and their various members, they're kind of which DPR stands for Dream Perfect Regime. It's a bunch of different members. They just kind of go around and they have different members, Live and Ian, and they have some very, very really good R&B-esque rap, hip hop tracks that they all do. And I will say DPR Live released an album in July called Ike Cool. And I really liked a couple tracks he had released off of that. One called Hula Hoops that he released with featuring Benzino and Wasa from Mamamoo, which I thought was really, really fun. Just a really, really good track. And then I also really liked his track Summer Tights that I believe he performed with one of his members. I think it had DPR Ian on it, and that's actually a really fun song too. Kind of this really I say go check out the music video for that one too because the music video is insane for that one. But it's almost kind of this really, really cool R&B sound. So I really good. I check out if you want like a different take on like Korean R&B that's a little bit more on like R&B hip hop. I say go check out DPR and their various members because they all release very interesting and very, very, very good music. So I've been getting into them this summer. But should we continue on into our August releases? So we're finally getting into our August releases, and I believe our next one I think I want to get into is let's see what you had here. I think we're gonna get. Do you want to do Red Velvet, and then I'll do 6?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, well, with Red Velvet, like they finally had like their comeback after releasing their last album. Wow, when was it? Like, when did they release Psycho?
Psycho was the end of 2019, I believe, early 2020. It was the end of was it end of 2019?
Yeah, it's definitely the end of 2019, and I don't think they did anything, except for like the subgroup with Irene and Sulgi. Plus, we had like Wendy still recovering from her injury, like last 2019. So that's when they had like the subgroups and all that. And but this is like their full comeback, or as like all the 5 members together. And with this, I think with the song Queendom, I think it'll be like a good, I guess, a good gateway for people who don't know like who Red Velvet is until like they go into like the more unorthodox, unconventional, like weird songs, like their biggest hits like Red Flavor or Peekaboo. So I think with Queendom, I think it's like a simple fun pop song that pretty much really showcases like a lot of their singing, and then with the members and the rapping. So Queendom, it's a fun comeback for them. I was kind of like expecting they do more of like the weird like the weird red concept that they would do like Zimzalabim or or
like Psycho.
But this one is pretty simple, so it's fine. But I think my favorite like tracks from like their album was actually Pose, because that's a great example of like how like their music sounds like really like it kind of like puts you on the edge, but but it's still very like they're still very enjoyable to listen to. So Pose, and then like Hello Sunset is like their other like side to them, where they do a lot of good R&B and that really like flows well together with like their singing. So I like their track Hello Sunset.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I know a lot of people are a little disappointed because again they were missing kind of that red, more weirder experimental side of Red Velvet, and it was a little bit more of like their sweeter, like, you know, bubblegum pop. I don't want to say bubblegum pop, but, you know, little sweeter side of Red Velvet. So I know I do tend to like a little bit more of their like more kind of crazier stuff with Red Velvet, but so I was a little like on the album too myself, but I know, and then I kind of felt the same way. So, but then I know the next day on the 17th of August, another really underrated male group that we've talked about a few times on here, but we haven't actually reviewed an album of theirs, but we really do once they actually have a comeback when we're actually recording, is Six. And they actually released their first full album while we were gone, with OK Prologue, Be Okay. And I thought this was actually very, very solid first full outing with them. I think this kind of picked up exactly where they left off with Cinema, with their title track Wave. It kind of has that very kind of dreamy atmosphere to it. It kind of feels a little soundtracky in a way, as it's like soundtrack atmospheric feel to it, you know, like Cinema had, where it was, you know, it was very almost like romanticized kind of feel to it. And it just kind of continues on with the feelings that they kind of have been building with their previous albums. A couple other songs I like off of the OK Prologue are Bad Dream and Off My Mind. The first two tracks, they kind of have these smoother, a little bit almost sexier sounds that we have seen from Six. Not as like super sexy, like say something like Jungle, but it's a little bit smoother sounding to kind of get you into the album. And then I really liked the last two tracks as well, which Confession, which I felt was super raw and emotional. It's a very raw sound that's just basically, it's just piano and their voices. It's super raw, super emotional. It really punches you in the gut and in the heart. You can definitely tell they poured their heart and soul into this song. And then the final track on there, which is they did an English song called Here For You. Just a really good song, like if you're having a bad day, just to put on and just to hopefully cheer you up, because it really does, after a bad day, just kind of pick you right up and put you back on your feet. So but then I'm also just going to touch on this quick because this technically is a repackage. And so most of the stuff on this album is a repeat, but I'm talking about Tomorrow by Together and their second album repackage, the Chaos Chapter, Fight or Escape, which also came out the same day as Six's first full album. With the and there was only two songs that were new off of that album. And I really, because this is the emo in me, but I loved Loser Equals Lover, because it just was, it is the K-pop emo song of your dreams. If you were an emo, like back in the day, like this is the emo song of your dreams. I am a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed that they did drop the curse word off of the Spotify. Really? Yeah, because the curse word's in the music video. Because Soupin drops the F-bomb.
How many times did they because I was like, a couple times. Are they saying that? Oh,
they're dropping the F-bomb a couple times in that song.
Yeah, it goes like their teenage act of fuck yeah.
Yeah, they're dropping a couple of fucks in that song. But and I'm kind of disappointed it's not in the album version, but I suppose like it had to be safe for television. I don't know. But it's just, it really is kind of continuing that like rock sound they were doing on Chaos Chapter Freeze with 0 times 1 equals low song I Know I Love You. Is keeping with that kind of same vibe, but it is really hella emo, and I love it to bits. So
I think I prefer their their love song better than the Loser. Yeah, I think it really drives into like the emotion, and I think it like gets you like like you're sorry, or like you wanted to escape from like your troubled environment. I really like love song better. But Lose Your Lover is like so very 2000s like emo rock.
It very much is. So, but I have a feeling we're going to be sitting here talking this next album here for a while because for reasons. But we're going to be talking next about Stray Kids, the winners, or big winners from Kingdom Legendary War. Finally making a actual comeback almost a year after their first album, Repackage. With their second full album, Noisy. And yeah, I mean, because it's been almost a full year since they actually dropped an album itself. I mean, they've been dropping music throughout, and obviously we're competing on Kingdom and stuff. Like, they always are dropping music on YouTube and on other platforms and stuff. But them actually dropping an album took a while. But wow, what a comeback for them! This album I had on repeat for a long time because this was such a solid album from them, all the way from the title track, Thunderous, all the way through the unit songs, and just all the way through. I was just floored, even knowing kind of some of the teasers that I had seen coming through, because I had known a little bit about the unit songs and some of the stuff that they were going to do. Looking at you, Bang Chan, Hyunjin.
But before we delve into the inevitable, but my thing, you know, when they're gonna have this comeback, I was like, oh man, you know, it's gonna be so hard to top from like their last years, because like last year they really put them on like the spot, like God's Menu and Backdoor, like they're like almost like gonna be like their signature hits in the future. But like that was like one of my concerns was like, oh, is there gonna be like their single track gonna be like a recreation of God's Menu, because of like hearing the trailer. Like it's probably gonna, like, I don't think it's gonna surpass God's Menu, but you know, on its own, I still really enjoy it, and you know, very like, you know, signature of Stray Kids, like, you know, kings of noise, you know, noise music, and like they really like you know, do well with like in their craft. And like I really enjoyed Thunderous, and I had like a lot of their songs on repeat too this summer, especially when I'm on the walk in the park. I had them on.
I know, like, I mean, Thunderous, I was really worried about the two, because it did sound a lot, the teasers did sound a little bit of like, oh god, they're gonna kind of repeat God's Menu a little bit.
God's Menu, like do twit.
Yeah, because I mean, we kind of saw them obviously playing with that a little bit on Kingdom, obviously with the remix with God's Menu on Kingdom, but I mean, it really does stand on its own as its own like iconic Stray Kids single. Like, I mean, between the choreography and just the breakdown, you know, combining Korean instrumentation in there, very classic instrumentation, kind of harken to like, you know, BTS's Idol in a way, a little bit with the instrumentation, but like I said, in Stray Kids' own unique way. And just, it's very loud, bombastic, in your face, like no holds bar, you know, just straight up Stray Kids, like, just, you know, there are no apologies for them. Like, this is them, like, they're literally like no apologies. So I mean, and like this whole album, I feel like is like no apologies, honestly. Like from the first track, Cheese, with the like basically like laying out to the haters, like I really do love the lines, like, you know, what's so funny about a headache, what's so funny about do you know,
like, supposed to be like something serious, guys. Like, you know, do something. Like
they're like tongue-in-cheek, like kind of like sniding up to the haters, and it's kind of hilarious, like the way they're doing it. It's so Stray Kids. It's so, they're just so unapologetically them, and I love it. I really love it. So, do you have any other favorite tracks off of? Because I mean, I like Thunderous. I like Cheese. I really like Domino.
Yes,
Domino is just fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Bestie Ryan Reynolds, you should put this in Deadpool 3 as a fight song, because it'd be really, really good.
Put any Stray Kids would do. And I really hope, like, I don't know when he's going to be greenlighting like Deadpool 3, but man, like, you gotta have like Stray Kids like involved somehow.
Yeah, like
I heard Chan is like.
Either cameo or music. Like, what are the two things?
Both. Yes.
Because apparently, like Bang Chan and Ryan have been talking, so apparently they're turning into best friends. supposedly. So, because yeah, apparently like Big Chan keeps bringing up like his best friend Ryan, like Ryan. He keeps saying Ryan hung, and I'm like, oh, like it's hung now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy. So, but then I also did like the track Star Lost, which kind of wraps up like them as a unit before we get into the unit tracks. On the album, the unit tracks, and then some of the re-released stuff that they had, because they did put on the album itself, they did put Wolfgang, which I'm so happy it's OT8 Wolfgang because it has Hunjin on it.
Yes, yeah, so, yeah. I couldn't like. Did they recover it or like redo the song again with Hyunjin there, because I couldn't really tell the difference.
I can actually tell the difference. I can tell the difference. Strangely, yeah, I can tell the difference. There's one part where you can really tell the difference between who's singing. It's towards the end. Okay. You can tell the difference between the Kingdom version and the noisy version. Which one's OT7, one's OT8. So
okay, yeah.
I'll have to point it out for you. But yeah, you can definitely tell they've actually got to re-record it with Hunjin, and so it's nice to actually have Wolfgang with Hunjin, and we actually got a performance of Wolfgang with Hunjin in it. So it was very nice to actually see that finally. At least thank God, Bang Chan did take his shirt off.
Yeah, he saved us from that because he was saving it for something else. No, but hold on. I also like their track 6 because I really like their more of like their fast paced grimy hip hop, and yeah, that's one of them.
Yes, it very much is. Like they really, really thrive in that like kind of grimier hip hop. Like I mean, all of them are very good in hip hop. It's kind of crazy because even Felix and Hunjin are not technically the rappers of the group, but they both can rap very well. So. So technically they rap quite a bit on the tracks. So that's why it always confused me, because I'm like, wait, they're not rappers technically? But they're not.
But a lot of them could rap really, really well though. Especially, when you go back to their one of my favorite songs for them, which is the tortoise and the hare. Like a lot of them were just, there's no singing in there. Well, just I think the chorus, but it's more rap singing.
But it's really quick too, because they're really playing again with the fast and slow. And that's why I love Tortoise and the Hare, because it's just love that dichotomy fast and slow on Tortoise and the Hare. But let's also, because I know we put the song on our list, and for obvious reasons, let's strip this Band-Aid off, because this song has haunted my dreams.
Let's skip to Ateez now.
No, because what happened, because it was the same day the music video came out, was the same day Ateez's album came out.
That is a plot. That is a ploy, or that is a plot between Ateez and them Stray Kids. Like, hey, this is. You want to ruin a Fans Day?
I have words for both of you. Anyway, no, we're talking about the track Red Lights. Because yeah, that music video. I mean, not just the music video, but the song itself. Before the music video even came out, because the music video came out like weeks later, but the song itself is like the sexiest thing they've ever done, and it's just two of them. It's just Bang Chan and Hunjin.
And guess whose idea was that? Hey, guess whose idea?
I don't know, because they keep flip-flopping on who apparently wrote the damn song in the first place. So
I thought it was Hyunjin who was actually the one who wrote the thing, and then I think Chan enabled him, okay, you go ahead, do what you gotta do.
He's the enabler. Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, because they went full on it's almost like the Weeknd-esque.
Yeah, S&M type of that. Yeah, no, but you're gonna go there's a bunch of chains, of chains, and exposed parts.
What in the 50 Shades of Stray is happening up in here?
Oh man,
because oh my god, yeah. Fun
fact. Okay, I don't know if this is verified to be true, but I saw apparently a fun fact from this song. It was because of Hyunjin and some of the Stray Kids were watching Venom, and so they liked the idea of. Wait! Hear me out.
Okay.
They like the concept of these essence, taking control over a host, and getting that getting to control
oh god I can't with
them. Which I think I'm gonna be mad at them for pushing Venom 2 into success, financial success. God, I am mad at those Venom movies, man. I am mad.
I am too, for multiple reasons. Now it's another reason I'm mad at them. So thank you for adding that to the list.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for adding that to the list, because that, like I said, this damn music video has not been haunting my dreams for a month now. Thanks.
And I will not do a Stray Kids and a Venom crossover fan.
God, no
plans. No.
You can't make us.
What I see is red lights.
No. God, no. Oh my God. I am moving us on before we just spiral further down this hole, because I'm dragging us out of here before we get tied down by those ropes and chains. And oh dear God, I'm moving on to BTB at this rate.
Yes. Our favorite BTB. Yeah, our favorite uncles.
Oh yeah, our favorite uncles from Kingdom, BTB. Save us, please. I'm moving on right on to BTB. BTB coming back and saving our souls, thank God. Our favorite uncles from Team Mayfly. Mayfly lives on forever, and they still do. I love it. Obviously, the 4 members currently out, actually now, because apparently Sungjae is apparently now out of the military. We're still waiting for Hunstake to come out of the military, but we're almost back to 6 members of BTB out of the military, and I'm looking forward to seeing the 6 of them. But when this came out, we had the 4 with their album Outside, or For You Outside. And the title track of that album, Outsider, is just super fun, and it's super jazzy, funky. It's like, it feels very second gen K-pop.
Very much so.
It's very, very fun. It's a fun, just fun jam. Like, the choreography is super fun. Like, you could learn that and just have fun with it. Like, the music video has so many fun references to Hollywood and like movies and stuff. Like, it's such a fun song for them, and I love the fact they kind of got to let loose and do something really, really fun with this album. Like, I think everything on this album is really, really kind of chill for them, and like really nice. Because they also do like the song Dreamer, which is the first track on that album. Feels very something like harken back to like late 90s, early aughts, like a throwback pop song, kind of something like John Mayer would have done in his early career. It has that kind of sound to it, but it works really, really well again with Eunkwon and Changsub's like super like beautiful vocals, and then you just have Minhook and Penyul raps just solidifying everything, and it's just super solid release from them. And like I said, I'm looking forward to getting all 6 members of BTB together finally, and getting a whole group, since we're not gonna unfortunately have Ilhoon anymore.
But also what's their youngest member's name?
Sungjae.
Yeah, he's gonna be coming home soon.
Yep. No, he's actually out now. He's actually out of the military now. We're still waiting for Hunchik to officially get out. Sungjae got out early because of his vacations fell to the point where he actually got released early because of COVID protocols in the military. So in order to make sure they're mitigating any potential COVID exposure and stuff, they're just like, you're done. So he's done, which apparently we had to find out from him and not Cube. So thanks, Cube. Thanks for letting us know. Because Sanjay had to let us know via Instagram Live. So thanks. But yeah, I'm happy we're getting close to finally, having them back for their 10th anniversary. So I'm excited. Also because it's been just fun seeing them like live streaming and stuff. They're just so much fun. And like I said, their interactions, like I said, Team Fly still flies. They're still like super, like they're like the fun uncles to both Stray Kids and Ateez. It's hilarious. It's so fun. It's so fun seeing their interactions still. Like it warms my heart. So
I can't believe I didn't include this, but I also like their their single, their comeback single for their album. Yeah, because I really like the jazzy flair that they do. Yeah, and I like how they included like their finale, their Kingdom finale song in there as well. Yeah. Same.
As a good finale too to the end of the album, it fit really well, kind of as a good just flow on the album. So yeah, there is weird. Like we had a couple of groups who had their songs from Kingdom on their albums, and a couple who didn't. So Interesting mix, but because the boys did not have their Kingdom finale song on their album. Strangely,
I have SF9. Did
SF9 did. Yeah, SF9 did have Believer on their album because Ateez did not. Which I have a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Me too. Because like their last music video, and I heard like that little riff coming. Like, are they gonna make a music video? What's going on? Come on, like,
we'll get to that when we talk about we'll talk about when we get to Zero Part 3. But let's get into. I have a couple more before we get to Ateez. But because I want to talk about Ace before. Ace and Purple Kiss, where I get to Ateez. But we had Ace come back with their basically a repackage with Change Your Dear Eris, which basically had a couple songs, and it was a lot of remixes of their previous songs, remixes and English versions of their previous singles that they had. But they had some. I really, really liked intro revelations into their title track Changer. The intro on that album is super rock driven, really atmospheric, really gets you into the album and drives right into Changer, which is this like really uplifting driving song that's going to really kind of like inspire you. It's another kind of inspirational song to get you up like on a really bad day again. I really like I think Ace is another one of those really underrated groups like Six and like Only One Of, that they don't get a lot of recognition. Like, I think they should, because they have a lot of immense talent and they really do have some really good stuff out there. And it's a shame because two of the members are now in the military, so they're not going to be releasing as much music currently. It's going to be a lot of unit stuff now because this is their last release as a group. Before, because we I believe both Wow and I'm trying to remember who, both Wow and Dong Hoon both entered the military just recently, so we're kind of getting to that point where they're now entering the military, so unfortunately we're getting to that point. And so yeah, I really like the songs, as well as I really did like they had this really beautiful song in the middle called Jindo Arang Prequel, which is this really interesting remix of Korean classical music with modern beats. Like the vocals, like they did this because it starts off and it's very, very traditional with their vocals, and they have very strong vocals in this group, and then it flowing into and adding the modern beats into it is just this really amazing, powerful arrangement. Like, I really highly recommend you listen to it because it's a really amazing arrangement, and it flows right into, I believe, one of their most underrated songs and their debut song, Cactus. And it's actually the English version of Cactus, which is actually a really, really good version of Cactus. And so, yeah, it's really, I highly recommend just listening to that into Cactus. It's a fantastic flow. Like, the arrangement on this album, like the flow on it is really, really good. So, because it also then led into a remix of the original Cactus, and I really like the remix version of it too. So I'm like, they had some really good stuff on it. So yeah, I really like the repackage. It's a different kind of repackage because they were playing with some different like remixes and English versions. So instead of like typical, like they just put new, the old songs, they actually remixed it. They actually did different language versions of it. So.
Yeah, no, it's very cool that there are a lot of like English, covers of their original songs, and like how they're getting like really better, and doing like a good translations, or just like having them fit. Fit
better,
so
with the lyrics, and not actually like actual translations, but it still translates
rough,
decently well. Like the theme still is there, but like it still kind of flows correctly. So
yes, yeah.
That's the important thing, I think, to note. So, but then I also do want to mention, I know this is one of the groups we talked about before we went on a hiatus, is Purple Kiss, one of the girl groups. We really enjoyed their debut, and they had a comeback recently at the beginning of September with their second mini album, Hide and Seek. And I found this album very interesting because it was not as rock oriented, because I know we were really worried about them kind of curbing a little bit on Dreamcatcher, because like the sound was you know, it was almost kind of like them kind of curbing off a Dreamcatcher's like new metal, new rock vibe.
And also like with their concepts too, or like their visual concepts is like going into like the occult, you know, like dark, concepts. So
I mean, even with a title track called like Zombie, like you would think they'd do that too, but it's still like had this. It was still a brighter song than you know, their previous than Purple. Than their previous the Panzonia, and then but it also has like this throwback like R&B sound. It sounds something like late Gen 2, early Gen 3 K-pop to it. There's a lot of horns into it. It had a little bit of an R&B mix, which I wonder is like, because I mean they're under the same company as their older sister group Mamamoo, who, you know, we both immensely enjoy and are very heavily in that R&B sound. So this album had a lot of very R&B sound to it, a lot like Mamamoo, but it didn't feel like they were ripping off Mamamoo. It still felt different and felt very unique in their own way, that like they can kind of go in their own direction. I mean, I also like the tracks on this album. I really like Twinkle and Z at the end of the album. Twinkle's this kind of bright song. And it's kind of going back a little bit to the rock elements a little bit, especially with the intro and outro of the song. It's kind of got this like interesting, like mysterious celestial feel to it, through like the vibe throughout. So again, kind of it has a like, you know, feeling the like occult, you know, very supernatural kind of vibe that they, I think, are trying to establish. So like if they can find a good medium between, you know, combining R&B with that, I could see that becoming a very interesting sound and being very, very, very unique in K-pop, and finding a niche that they could totally dominate and being very, very successful at, you know, and something that's not seen in K-pop, you know, because we see so many like, you know, very bubblegum pop groups and, you know, so many other groups that are very, you know, similar, and then having a very unique, very different sound sometimes does, you know, keep you ahead of the game a little bit. And they're just like right there to finding something that's going to like totally make them like that unique group. And they're just like right there, I think, in my mind. So, but
that's
I think
good to hear.
They're like just right there. And like I said, I think this is a solid second album too. Not as much growth as I saw between like I saw with Kingdom, but still some growth with them. So.
I still need to listen to like the album because I haven't gotten into them yet, and I was like looking forward to it as well. I was like, like Purple Kiss.
But these last few ones, I believe we both have listened to. So we both will definitely be talking about these, because these are all, I know, releases we both were looking forward to.
And plus like they're like the closest ones that, you know, that we both like, you know, started discussing more over too.
I mean, because these are definitely, the end of September was like, the end of September was a gauntlet of like new music. So I know we were like, we really got to get back onto recording. So that's why we're like, we really got to get going. So, but I guess our first one we're going to get into is Ateez. I promise I will not try to rant. Ateez with their mini album Zero Fever Part 3, which is actually now the final album in the Zero series. They say, I don't trust them, but they say, I don't trust a word that comes out of their mouth. But they say this is the final.
All men do is lie. Okay.
It feels like it sometimes. But they say this is the final one in the Zero series. And if the diary entries, which I just finally got my albums finally in the mail, kind of feels like with the diary series, this might be the end of the Zero series, and we might be getting something new coming next. So I'm looking forward to seeing what is next. But this this is, I think, another very solid release from Ateez. Again, showcasing them, just like the immense talent they have, just different vibes that they can definitely create throughout their music. I mean, this is another one where the fandom got to choose the single, much like Zero Fever Part 1, where we got to vote between Inception and Thanks. This time we got to vote between Deja Vu and Eternal Sunshine. And you can guess why we all voted for Deja Vu. I'm sure Jenny knows why.
No, I have no recollection. I don't know what you're talking about.
You have no idea why we all voted for Deja Vu. No idea why they decided to, have them all in those, the teaser photos, all in the crop tops and water and looking all sexy. And no reason, and just having them being all sexy and shit. Yeah. No reason whatsoever. Yeah, no.
Anyway,
but no, Deja Vu was actually voted by the fans to be overwhelmingly voted by the fans and overwhelmingly voted to be the title track for this era of Ateez. And I will say it probably is Ateez's sexiest song. God, what is it between Stray Kids and Ateez both releasing their sexiest songs? This era, like right around the same time. I swear to God.
At least with Ateez, I think I wasn't I was impressed with with their song, but I wasn't blown away with oh they could have been sexier, but at least they had restraint.
They had restraint. I see what you did there. They have a big channel. No,
unintentional.
Intentional. No, I mean, because it is a little restrained in terms of sexiness. Like we've seen some groups go full blown sexy, but they still kept it a little bit restrained. The only person who did not keep it restrained is Yosan and his goddamn crop tops.
That is character development. Looking forward to the character development because he's been breaking wrecking my bias list. I think I tolerate him more than San right now, but even though it's
San, the demon San. I mean,
he's not going to be licking all over the place. Then I'm good. He can be Yo-san. Okay?
Between San and Soma both uncontrollably using their tongues on stage yet again. This comeback. I'm still stop with the stop. No.
Oh, no. Speaking of tongues, sorry, why are we talking about tongues? Because Yosan has
I don't know. We're derailing. Oh my God.
Because Yosan has also a tongue quirk. We're not
talking about that thing from Jesse. No.
But just as long as he's not doing it, in the stage, I mean,
if you don't want to know what we're talking about, go check out Jesse's show interview on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Go watch her episode with Ateez. That was wild as hell. Especially with the whole I think she broke Yosan with the whole girlfriend question. I think she broke Yosan in the whole time.
Because a clip where there's one part because they were talking about the weird quirks, and Yosan was the one. He said I can turn my tongue 180, and then he showed 180, and so when they showed that, and then Jesse's oh, so you do that something with something else then, and they're oh no, so do you have a girlfriend, Yosan? And then it's they're all broke. Oh my God.
Everybody broke at that moment. Thank God Jongho wasn't there because I think Jongho would have run off stage at that point.
I know. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. This era has been wild. I'm not even gonna lie. This era has been wild as an 18. No lie. But
yeah. Even Jesse was enthralled with San because I think he was watching the video and then when San's part came up and she was looking at
she's just sir, what the hell? I know, which every time it's usually sir.
Us too, Jesse. Us too.
Hell? I know.
You don't blame me, Jesse.
Most of the time, yes. But I mean, also gonna lie because Deja Vu is now how I've apparently got my roommate hooked into Ateez, so you're welcome, world.
Oh no. You got a casualty.
I got another one. You're welcome, world. But no, besides Deja Vu completely wrecking the fandom, I mean there's other songs on this album that were really good. Eternal Sunshine itself is fantastic.
My favorite.
Is a fantastic album. It shows a completely different side of Ateez. It's super bright. I love the dichotomy of them having these more melancholy lyrics with this bright sound. It's
almost like a bittersweet some kind of hope, some silver lining that you can get through the song. Mm-hmm. Or some kind of hope that you wanted to reach out, that kind of feeling. because like that song is like it's also very atmospheric. Like you want to like run outside in the cold and just like
Mhm.
you know, pour your heart out, that type of you know,
Yeah.
mood.
But it's referencing a lot with obviously Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Like it took literally the first like lines of it talk about like if you could keep one memory, what could it be? So like they're referencing a lot, which I think Hong Joon has actually pointed out is actually one of his favorite movies. So yeah, they took a lot of inspiration of writing from that movie itself. So and then I really did like the tracks Rocky and Not Too Late. I really like Rocky. Rocky's just a great anthem. Actually, mostly written by Hong Joon. Like I think he took lead on this one. He got to actually lead on two of the songs on this album again. Referencing Rocky, obviously, you know, the Rocky series. Just it's a great, powerful anthem. Like you just want to get up and just like I'm not gonna you want to get up and fight somebody, but I mean they kind of use it as a metaphor to like you guys like getting on stage and just like you know taking over on stage, and it's fantastic, and I just love like just like how inspiring and you know get out there it is, and then just I really love the final track, Not Too Late, with how somber it is, but it's got this really beautiful message behind it about how, you know, like we're kind of all going through the same thing, like the same struggles. And like they really put this very sincere message out there to the fans. And I mean, not gonna lie, like the first time I read the lyric translations, I cried. Because it's
why am I laughing? I like
it's super it is super emotional, like especially just the emotion, the vocal line, all six of them put in there. Even with Hong Joon and Mingi's raps, it's just like they poured their hearts and souls into this. I know there's a story that they said that they literally like recorded that in the dead of the night in the dark just to get the atmosphere right, to record it just right on the album, just to make sure they could get the feeling correct, and they nailed it. So yeah, it's a beautiful song. I really highly recommend you listen to the song. You go look for the lyric translations on it too, because it's a really beautiful message. So
yeah, well, you know how we said like how their album doesn't include like their Kingdom finale,
which is the real, unfortunately, which we were all like, real. Why is the real not on here? Because we were all wondering that when the album listing got dropped. And then at the end of Eternal Sunshine, which actually literally just dropped this week, the music video, we were like, there was the because the Ateez likes to drop teasers at the end of the music videos, because you know they're like Marvel. They like to end post credit teasers. There was a piano version of the real, so it's like
including our two problematic members,
Busan.
I know, like I was like looking like, oh man. Like of course they're going to be at like the together in that like final end credit scene.
Okay, well you rather have that or rather have the moment in Deja Vu where it looks like Woo Young is biting Sun and then yeets him off stage.
I didn't mention that.
Would you rather have that moment or would you rather have them floating in the sky and then have the real plating? Please tell me. Tell me why. I don't know. But yeah, so like I have theories, and I can't say much because I know people are still like reading the diary, especially with how the diary ended.
Yeah, but they've been teasing. Okay, I'm just going back to the real, but they've been teasing like that song because they also when I went back to listen to Fireworks not too long ago. Yeah, it's also teased at the end of the thing with like that that mysterious figure too.
Yes.
I was like,
it's teased at the end of Fireworks. It's teased at the end of Eternal Sunshine, and there's a little bit of an instrumental at the end of Not Too Late on the album. That's what's teased at the end of Deja Vu, when Yosan's kind of alone with the broken chromer, and then he's reaching out to somebody. Yeah, it's some instrumental. It's like kind of like they did like a mini outro. It's like 15-second outro they kind of threw at the end of Not Too Late. So it's like, what kind of clues do they leave us for the next era here of Ateez music? So right, there'll be a lot of theorizing in the fandom coming up soon, especially with how things have developed currently in their lore. So I will say this, holy cliffhanger, and my heart is broken currently. So, but we should probably get a move on to our final couple albums here, because I think we're going to be talking about this one for a tiny bit too. Because I know we had thoughts about this album.
Oh yeah, are we thinking?
I'm thinking about
are we going
NCT127?
Yeah, what were we thinking?
NCT with Sticker and the third full album Sticker. I can't whistle. I can't whistle. Period. So you can do that. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh,
yeah.
Sticker.
When me and my sister, because we were like waiting for like the premiere thing to drop, so we were at like the premiere, the premiere viewing.
Yeah.
And then after after we watched it, then like my sister and I were like, and then we were like kind of like dead sound, like, we don't know what to think about it.
So like that was a song. I mean, I was kind of like okay, yeah, because yes, we know about NCT's concepts, like we know how they do like their music, like SM Entertainment, like they're one of the most experimental groups out there, which is very very ambitious of them, and creates like an identity for them as NCT, because not a lot are that experimental with their music, not a lot. But with this one, there can be hits and misses, when it comes to producing things, and and I was like, with Sticker, I was like, a lot to like unpack. Yeah, this one was a miss. This was a big miss, especially for me, and I feel like, from what I heard from the fandom, like for like a lot of people, I think this one was a big miss in the fandom. From these people,
no. You know what? I've seen a lot of people, like a lot of fans, like being so highly defensive about about songs. Okay, because when we go back to BTS and when they released their English single "Permission to Dance," I was not a big fan. I was not a big fan of that song.
I'm not either.
Yeah, but when you go to Twitter and you see them like trying to like get them to like stream it, even though if you don't like it, or almost like they're like almost lying to themselves, or just like saying, oh, if you don't like that, like if you don't like the song, then you're no fan. Like, what? Like, why can't we just be able to at least criticize the groups that we love? Like we can like do that.
We can. I mean, there's a reason why I don't like Permission to Dance. Permission to Dance is just a very, very Ed Sheeran song that should have stayed with Ed Sheeran. I mean, I kind of like the message behind it. I like the fact that it's the sign language, but I don't like the fact that it's a BTS song.
Yeah, and it's not. It doesn't fit with BTS. It really like that song really loses like the persona of BTS. So now like they really sound like any generic boy band.
Yeah,
with that song, like I was mad. Like
I know. I mean, especially after Butter, because Butter sounded so much more like BTS, and then we had Permission to Dance. It's just like one step forward, two steps back. You know what I mean?
That's why I am so happy, and it kind of feels like vindication when they released Coldplay's "My Universe," because like finally
I know
they've been redeemed.
Something, and like the fact that Chris Martin actually took actually did research into the voices and stuff, but I know My Universe. My Universe is amazing. Also watch the music video. Anyway, but NCT.
Back to NCT. Like I love NCT is one of my top groups.
Yes.
But they're like, why can't we like criticize?
Critical.
If we couldn't call them out on some feedback, then where would be the growth? Like they're gonna be continuing to make that kind of the same mistakes for us.
Right. I mean, and we're gonna continue talking about obviously some of SM's more experimental stuff next week with aespa, because we're going to talk next week about aespa and their new release here. So we'll talk a little bit more about SM and this experimental take they're taking currently on their music, because like I said, Sticker's just like, it's the flute on the place, so over the place. It drowns out some of the higher vocals on the group. It literally does drive the raps, like it feels like the raps are offbeat. Like it drives Taeyong's and Mark's raps off beats to the point that it's such a mess of a song,
and it's so shrill that I couldn't really hear them. It's like it's almost like it's like trying to overtake, like, you know, like them, like, you know, either singing or rapping, and then all I can hear is just the flute. Like, because, okay, you know, like, I get it. Like, you need to have like a signature riff that would make your song really recognizable. The song is recognizable, but for like, but yeah, no, it's recognizable with the flute, but with like the wrong reasons, because a lot of people are making so many jokes about it. Like, people who like NCT or the people who don't like, now they're gonna have reasons like, see, you know, sticker. But yeah, no, like, what I like the silver lining about this song is how many people went on to like do their own versions and like see, like, you know, what they could have improved on it. Okay. Even though there's some like crazy fans who were like, no, the original is better. Like, no, yeah, if you like it, then if you actually genuinely like it, then cool. Like, if you find something, you know, actually quality about it, then cool. Yeah, but with that, like, I'm no music producer, but you can keep the flute, like, make it like the signature riff, but make it like soft and actually have like an actual flute, because that sounds like a more of like a tech, you know, you like a synth, like some kind of like thing that you find on a computer, computer program type of recorder or flute. Yeah, like you actually like like record it with like someone playing the flute, and it would feel a bit more softer, and it wouldn't overtake like the vocalists or the rappers.
Yeah, exactly. It's so shrill sounding, and it just like overpowers everything. And like, yeah, because I mean, I know I've seen versions of people actually taking out the flute, and it sounds so much better without the flute.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but even though like the song is kind of like minimalistic without the flute, because you can like do something with the piano, or you know. Yeah,
or another beat or something to it. But yeah, I mean,
like okay, like I like what they're doing with more of like like a spaghetti western, but more modern. So maybe like, okay, I'm not an expert, but you know, make it something like that feels like you know, like you would go into a saloon, but it's more futuristic, that type of thing. Yeah, you know, I don't know how to like, you know, produce it myself, but like I can imagine it in my, you know, in my head.
Yeah, it needed something else, and the flute wasn't it. So I mean, there's other songs.
Make it soft. Yeah, make it softer. Just, you know, pull it back.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other songs on this album that I think we liked. I mean, Lemonade. I thought Lemonade should have been
Lemonade.
Lemonade should have been
even though like I think, you know, it would be like kind of almost like a standard K-pop beat, but it's more consistent. Like, it's better, you know, better produced.
Still feels very NCT to me.
Yeah,
it still feels very very them. So like, I mean, it still would have worked, I think, in terms of like their success. So I mean, and then I mean, is there anything else you liked off of Sticker?
The next songs would be Breakfast and Focus. I really like Focus is very like, you know, really relaxing type of like chill music. Like, you can, you know, it's almost sensual, but it's like very R&B, which you know, they're SM artists are really good at.
Yeah, I really like Focus too. I think because it is like peak SM with that R&B kind of smooth jam kind of feel to it.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Say something about like the lyrics? I don't know.
Yes, you can.
Okay, because my mind was way into the gutter when I listened to that song Focus. And and it was until like when I read the lyrics, I was like, oh, I'm putting on the clown makeup, because they were saying I can't wait to reach you or something like that. But like their accent kind of made it sound like they were saying something. Well, what do you think I was about to say?
I know. I think I know what you're going to say. I think I know what you're going to say. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I think I know what you're going to say.
Okay. I mean, like, okay, if you guys listen to the song, like going to the chorus, it sounds like they're saying something else. That's what I'm going to say.
We're just going to leave it at that. Our mind's already been in the gutter enough this episode.
And I really thought they did it, or I really thought that they said it, and then like until I was reading the actual lyrics, I was like, okay, because that was like, well, if they actually said it, like, oh wow, that is bold of you to like say that.
All right then, okay. But I mean, I'm also.
I can't wait till we chill. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm also a little peeved too that Sticker kind of kept beating Ateez too with Deja Vu. So I'm a little disappointed in that.
I'm both well, because since AT sorry, NDT is my bias group. I'm happy that they're making records with Sticker, and I'm glad it's getting them into
Right.
the charts. I mean, but it's the same thing for me when I felt about Permission to Dance, like breaking records too.
Yeah.
So like, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
and meanwhile, I'm sitting
yeah.
here like Ateez is like on the cusp of becoming $1 million seller. Like they're so close.
So close.
They're so close.
Keep on hoping.
This series was such an amazing comeback for Ateez. Like the growth. Anyway, no, and then I guess we got 2 more to talk about, and then we're done. Next we want to talk about actually came out on the 24th with ITZY and their second full album with Crazy in Love. And the title track Loco. I know. My mind went to exactly the same place. I think Cedric asked me, where's Beyonce?
Where's Beyonce?
Where's Beyonce at? No, it's no Beyonce involved. But the title track Loco, I don't know. I felt like it was a little chaotic to start in the beginning, but it grew on me like through the first listen. Because I think it's a little long in the first part before you get to the first chorus, and then it flows a lot better. But
yeah, I think with Yeji's like the bridge, it feels really off. Like Aces to the kitty, and like
It just felt a little weird. So like it kind of interrupted the flow a little bit. But I think it's a solid title track for them because it still feels very, ITZY in their like signature bombastic flair.
They're really bubble pop, like a bit of like a punkish tinge into them. Like it's very much ITZY.
Yeah,
and I think that with the whole album, I think since they're going into like a more of like a hip hop phase with their albums, I think this is a much better like improvement from their thing with Guess Who.
Yeah,
because with Guess Who with Mafia in the Morning, they were trying to go a bit more like a trap style of hip hop.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a bold move or bold turn for them to do, but I think there was something that's still like lacking with the previous song. So when I listened to like the whole album of Crazy in Love, I was all over like their hip hop tracks. Like I think it really fits with, like, I think they're like the hip hop style that they do is like more of like an 80s old school type of like rap style. And I think it really goes well with their bubblegum pop and, bit of a punk, styles in their music. So I think I really much prefer like their songs.
Yeah, I think it really clicks better with their aesthetic. I think just to kind of do that because the trap was a little off. I mean, I like Mafia in the Morning, but it definitely was.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine. It wasn't like oh my god, amazing. But it was just okay.
Yeah.
But I think I mean I do like Loco better than Mafia in the Morning.
Yeah,
and
also the B-sides too.
Oh, the B-sides I think are substantially better than anything off of Guess Who. Like even on the first listen, like Swipe and #20, like on first listen are just fantastic B-sides.
The selection that I had are just pretty much like that kind of old school type of hip hop, which is Swipe. Swipe really reminds me of like GOT7 in their early days because like the music to it and like the weird little quirks in some like the production really feels like GOT7.
Well, I mean, aren't they under the same umbrella? Technically, GOT7 was under JYP, yes. So I could see where that would be inspiration would be kind of coming from.
Yeah, and then so after Swipe would be #20 and Boombox. Like they have like that really upbeat type of like rap flow with them, and I really love how everyone is like joining in with like the rap verses. That's really impressive.
Yeah, I really like #20 because it felt like something #20 felt like something Blackpink would do if Blackpink was under JYP.
I would think,
poppier. It was like a poppier Blackpink song.
Oh God! I almost cursed to like think of like Blackpink under JYP because they'd be more colorful. They'd more like be like hey,
I know, right?
Yeah, no.
I know.
You put this into me.
I don't want to throw that image in people's heads. Also, can we get Blackpink out of YG's dungeon?
Oh man, I know.
Seriously. But yeah, I mean, I think they had this is a really, really, really solid release. It's just, the only thing is like, because it's so weird, because like we had Stray Kids, you know, second full album, and they had, you know, a whole bunch of new music, and then even they had a couple, you know, re-releases, you know, because they had Wolfgang, and then they had what was the last track, which they had released earlier as a kind of like a pre-single, because it's a mixtape technically, and they usually release their mixtapes kind of previously because they're usually a little different take on their stuff. But like for ITZY, it was like they had 8 like tracks, and then like everything else was like instrumentals of like old singles and their new singles. Like, okay, that's kind of interesting for the packaging. I'm like, I don't want to know what the decision was for that, but okay.
Yeah, like, but at least with their, you know, their first studio album, like they actually have like a great amount of like songs into their thing, and like the you know, their side A of their actual songs are, you know, very, you know, like 8 to 10 or something, like it's, you know, it's enough. And the rest of them are like the, you know, half are just instrumentals of their past singles, so, you know, which is a fun, you know, thing for, you know, midsies to, you know, have and listen to like the instrumentals themselves,
or don't practice their karaoke.
Or, you know, which I used it to an advantage from one of the songs, because I used like one of the tracks to like do some kind of stupid edit with, you know, a friend of ours.
And I love that edit so much. I really, really do.
I tried so hard because our friend was so offbeat, and I had to like change up like the like shift like the, you know, like the verses and the bridge. Just like, damn it, it was difficult.
I was still dying though, because it was still freaking hilarious. We had a friend of ours trying to rap to the...
Shout out to Chris, the ultimate midsy, you know, our good friend Chris, Chris Brown,
for giving Jenny the recommendation, because I was gonna like recommend her to probably try to do Wonderland, and I don't know how the hell you would have done it with Wonderland.
I don't know.
That honestly works so much better with Mafia in the Morning. I'm not gonna lie. But I guess let's do our last one with Key. From SHINee. And since this is his first big release since he was released from the military earlier this year, I guess, you know, for solo work for him, because obviously he had his work with SHINee earlier, with his first actual mini album, because I think he just had...
Oh, really? Wasn't Face sort of his considered his first mini album?
It feels like it, but he says this is like his first mini album. I'm not sure how he's...
Yeah, same thing with Dio. He's like, okay,
it's like, how are y'all naming your albums over at SM? Who knows what they're doing at SM?
Confusing.
It's so confusing, but because I know he's been promoting this, I guess it's his first album or something, but with Bad Love, and I'm not gonna lie, I loved the aesthetic he was teasing with this, like this very, very like old school, very retro, kind of cheesy, like 50s, 60s bad sci-fi kind of vibe.
Sci-fi.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I love it too. Even almost eerie with like the aliens that he is encountered, especially with the teaser of like that first alien. But it's very much like, you know, like 60s Star Trek and like, you know, Doctor Who type of vibes. But I love like the album. I don't know if I'm gonna be including it for my top 10 or the honorable mention. I know. But yeah, like listening to Key's album or his music. Apparently he's fought hard to like get them released, because I don't know if he was involved in producing the music themselves or himself, but apparently he's been wanting SM to like have it released, which is good job for SM for allowing him to do that. Because I feel like he had some input, because I think he was trying to have some more input in like his own work as of late, because it sounded like that's what he was saying in a lot of his Instagram lives and stuff that he's been doing. Yeah, and good. Yeah, kudos to Key for making that happen. And and I like how, because I know with SM they're trying so hard to like do some kind of like cinematic universe, connecting a lot of like with groups because of for aespa. But I'm actually pleasantly surprised, because I think with Red Velvet I was expecting they would like reference some kind of aespa term like vocabulary, but they did not at all. And And same with NCT. They don't mention Kwangya or anything. So that I'm happy that like they get to do like their own little thing and just make it all connected.
Yeah.
And same thing with Key, even though it's like very like sci-fi like thing that SM's trying to do, but I really like it's still his own like his own thing, like his own it has his own identity into it, because if Key with China, he is very very inspired with like a lot of American pop artists such as Lady Gaga, Kesha. Like if he's heard like his early days, he always listens to those pop songs. And yeah, you can tell like a lot of those are very inspired by like those American pop artists. And even like some of the songs that I list that in the album, not only just Bad Love, but also Yellow Tape and Helium, which is my other like favorite B-sides from him. The music, it feels very much like these very those EDM, like European EDM songs I would like listen to, like this Euro retro wave. That I've listened a couple of years ago, because with Helium, it kind of reminds me of this group called Royce Cop. If you like gonna put up like there's song from them called Happy Up Here. If you compare that with Helium, it kind of has like that kind of similar vibes to me, because it's like that how it's produced with the EDM is like very much like something from either nostalgic or very Euro centric type of like music. And yeah, he's managed to make that work.
Yeah. I mean, this whole album has some really awesome, like kind of like almost like 80s retro vibes throughout. Like, like Bad Love, the title track, like it's very 80s, but like it's 80s, but it feels very modern. Like I know a lot of people were kind of getting burnt out on like that whole, people using the old like
K-pop.
retro, especially K-pop, using like a lot of 80s sounds and like, beats and stuff, and it was getting really, really played out. But this just felt really fresh and very new. The way it was arranged, the way he was using it, and the way the song was arranged, it just felt really fun and refreshing. And I really, really enjoyed the song. I really enjoyed the music video that he put out. Like it's so unabashedly like him. Like it really feels just his personality shined throughout, because he is very, very is one of those very unapologetic people.
Like the people calling like the diva, of Shiny, because he's very like, very exaggerated with his personality. Like he's like, like he's very like so dramatic. Like that's the perfect way to describe. And this really fits with his style.
It does.
And also because how he's such a little monster, such a little monster. Bad Love, Bad Romance.
I see that. I see that connection now.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, but he's such a Lady Gaga fan. Like very.
He is. I hope they get to meet one day. If they have not met previously.
Collaborate.
Manifesting this into the world. But yeah, I mean, I also really like, again, Yellow Tape, Helium are both fantastic songs. Like, I love like Helium because we really got to actually kind of play with this falsetto, because Key really is kind of showcased as a rapper in Shiny, and like this whole album really got to showcase his vocals, and he's a very strong vocalist. And
it really emphasizes like like Shiny as being one of the best vocalists, powerhouse vocalists in the K-pop industry. Even like the rappers who is Key and Minho, like they're all very great singers on their own as well.
Yeah, they both can hold their own on their own solo work, and so this album is a testament to that, just for Key in itself. So this one is a highly recommended album. This might go on my top 10 list if something doesn't knock it out, because this is easily been a fantastic listen to. And like I said, the whole aesthetic, the way he teased it and everything has just been fun. Him promoting it too has just been so much fun. He's just one of those personalities that's just fun to watch in K-pop. So it's just been a blast. So. But yeah, that's gonna do it for our wrap up. I think we've hit them all.
2-hour show.
2-hour show. I told you it was going to be
Cedric would say 2-hour show.
Yeah, it's not quite a mini, but mini for us. But like I said, we had
pre-single, like a long ass pre-single for like the next major comeback.
But for us, I mean, we had 2.5 months of music to get through. So, and I think we busted.
2 months to like pack it in.
Actually,
there's just so many things I wanted to like
months.
mention.
3.5 months, though, because we had
3.5 months.
July, August, September, and then half of June. So 3.5 months of music. So
so like to list down. I also like mixed up like some of like the information like with Akmu, which is one of my highly recommended artists.
Mm-hmm.
Naka, their song Naka is the one consisting of IU.
Oh, okay.
I think Naka, which I really like. Naka, the song.
Mm-hmm.
Other than their Hey Kid opener track.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So it's a little caveat to add there to the end. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a crazy time. It's been a crazy summer in K-pop, just with everything going down. And there's a lot of really good music. Like I said, some of this stuff might actually show up on the end of the year lists. Some of these albums, potentially. I know a few of them are either not getting on my list or currently on my list. So I'm still kind of getting my list together. I know it's a little early now. It's like, it's only October, but it's like, gotta start thinking about that because before you know it, it's the end of the year. But we are, I know it's crazy, but before, but we are going to be back next week. I promise we will be back next week. This is again, we are back, officially back, guys. This is
we're out of our dungeons.
We are out of YG's dungeon. No, God, we're not in YG's dungeon.
I'd rather live in the JYP attic. You know how like there's some like labels have their own little dark rooms where they don't use their artists. Like so we got YG and the YG dungeon. And then with JYP, the JYP attic.
Wait, does the JYP attic have the chains and ropes from Red Lights? No, I'm kidding. No.
SM basement. The SM basement. I don't know what Hybe.
I don't know what Hybe has. Hybe moved. I don't know what they have anymore. I just know people are getting lost in that building yet.
Big room. The big unused room.
They probably do have a few in there. That the building is huge.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. I know. I just know.
Even 17 was like, thank goodness, since we were like a large group. Thank goodness we have a studio for us to like dance freely and openly.
Yeah, right. Those practice rooms at Hybe are huge. Like, you watch any of the dance practices where like BTS or Tomorrow By Together and Hyphen or 17. They're gigantic, like massively gigantic. But yeah, no, we will be back next week with actual reviews, actual full reviews next week. Not us busting through 20 to 30 albums, but we'll have actual reviews next week.
Yeah, and we will put up our recommendations in Spotify as well.
We will put up our recommendations for all the music we talked about today up on Spotify. We'll have a wonderful long playlist for you. So if you have anything that you wanted to take a listen to, we will have it all in a nice convenient place for you. But yeah, next week we will be talking about aespa, because we were kind of talking about a little bit of them today. And our thoughts on
their first mini album, their first mini album, which is Savage.
Yes, and our thoughts on their universe building. As well as I think we're gonna probably be talking about probably Golden Child, because they finally had another comeback, as well as R&B artist Woods, who we haven't talked a lot about in this show, but he usually has some very good stuff. I actually have a few things on my Spotify, and he's got some very good music. And I think we'll talk about him.
It's good for us, because other than talking about the mainstream groups, we should really encourage on like bringing out like the more underrated or like the more unheard of.
Yeah, I know. There's another group. I was in another group, and I completely missed their comeback this summer that I've been getting into, called Lucy. Technically under the K-pop like mainstream moniker, but they're very unique in terms of like have a violinist in their music, and they have very beautiful music. And I highly recommend you go check out Lucy. Very good music.
Kind of brings me back to Super Junior's Henry Lau. Because he also he's good at playing the violin. Yeah.
I really highly recommend Lucy. If they have a comeback while we're on air, I'm really gonna have to recommend it, because there's some really, really good stuff. It also covers some amazing stuff too. So the arrangements are really, really well. They're very talented. As well as next week too. I think we're gonna have to talk about Hyphen. With their comeback, because they come back on Tuesday, with their new album, with their first full album too, as a group.
Oh, studio album. Okay.
First full studio album. So we have a new music from Unhyphen as well, and I'm trying to think what else we have, but I think that's about it. Maybe we'll talk. Maybe in Flying too. I'm not sure. I still to go listen to In Flying. I know they just dropped new music today too. Another more rock oriented group, kind of like Day 6. That I really actually do. I've listened to a few of their stuff, and they actually have some really good things too. But we'll see what all falls next week. But I know for sure we'll be talking about aespa, and we'll be talking about Hyphen for sure next week. So stay tuned for those. But I guess before we go, do you have anything you want to plug, Jenny?
Okay, this brings me back months ago, but you can find me on Facebook at Ginny Liano, or on my design pages at Ginny Liano Design. So that's GINNYLEANO. And find me on my Instagram for my design page at Ginny Designs. And hopefully, with those pages, you can be able to find my other personal pages, such as my Instagram, my second page, and on my Twitter. And back to you, Jenny.
And you can find me, Jenny. You can find me over on Facebook, facebook.com/Jenny Matasek. That's Jenny with an I, Matasek. You can always find me over on Twitter and on Instagram at Chaos Bulldog. And you can find our show pages for the Noonas podcast over on Instagram and on Twitter at Noonas_podcast. Don't forget that underscore.
Yeah, you'll find me just like putting up a bunch of trash memes in there, just you guys like spamming.
I appreciate your trash meme. I appreciate your aespa trash meme today. That was hilarious, actually.
Yes,
because I thought I thought the exact same thing. We will talk about this more next week, but I thought the exact same thing when that happened.
I can't believe I'm not the only one, or like I'm not the original person who like come up with this idea, but like the rest,
But I'm not gonna lie, accurate. But you can also.
I know.
Oh my god, seriously, aespa. I have so many thoughts about aespa, but we're holding on to them until next week. But you can also check out our Spotify playlist and our SoundCloud links to our show. Also under the handles, our SoundCloud actually just got a new domain at soundcloud.com/Noonas podcast, all one word, where you can see our back catalog of previous episodes of the Noonas podcast. You can also check out the video form of our show over at the Metropolis Collective over on Facebook. Thank you guys once again for hosting the show. We very much appreciate all the hard work you guys do. Please check out some of the other shows over on the Metropolis. They put in some great work on some other shows over there. There's some amazing guys and gals over there, do some amazing hard work. Really go check out their work. And this has been a mini episode? ?
Mini episode, the pre-single.
Sure, we're gonna call this the pre-single episode with 31.5. We're still trying to figure out the name of this episode.
31.5 for me.
I'm debating about calling this episode 31.999, just to reference Girls Planet 999. Not that I've been watching that show, because I
really oh my god I'm not caught up. I'm not into those survival. I think Kingdom would be is our only exception.
If I was triggered enough already during Kingdom and there was no eliminations on Kingdom, I cannot do that through actual eliminations. So there's apparently enough drama, no manufactured drama, because again, Mnet, the bane of our existence. Anyway,
trash.
Pretty much. I mean, well, for many reasons. Still waiting to see what kind of drama happens with Mama 2021, but that will be determined in December. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. But yeah, this has been the Noonas podcast, and we are back. And as always, fighting.
Fighting.